So over the years, we've theorized like what you're good at, what things you're not good at. This year, it seems like you've been a little bit better with hard pack conditions versus softer conditions. Is that normal to how you normally have felt over your career, or is that a switch this year?
For hard pack versus rutted tracks, yeah, I have been stronger this year for the hard pack surface. Thinking back, just previous years, as of late, I would say maybe since I'm thinking back to like 2016. From now to 2016, I would prefer a hard pack track.
Yeah.
Over ruts, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, if I had to go pick one, I would pick hard pack right now. And I just think back to results and feelings, and yeah.
Yeah, I was just like growing up in Colorado, it seems like your dirt's maybe a little bit not as loamy and ruddy as some of the areas across the country. So what was that like learning process for you then of getting really good at those rutted conditions? Because you obviously, like you say, you liked the hard pack 2015, 2016, but then got really good at the rutted stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of Colorado, my house, it's just sand. It's either sandy if you till it up and prep it, or if you don't do that, then it becomes hard packed. So that's just the Southwest. We don't have a whole lot of moisture. So yeah, I grew up riding hard pack.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, when I think back to my 250 days, I kind of preferred the rutted tracks.
Yeah.
But now on my 450, I would prefer hard pack.
Just because rutted, a little more tighter and technical in the 250s
Yeah,
were better
at the time, yeah, I felt like I had an advantage in the ruts back then.
This track this weekend seems a little bit more tighter, technical of a track as well, and the dirt's obviously going to be good. So do you feel that fits with how you felt this year then?
I'm just excited to be inside of a dome and have a consistent surface. It should just be pretty good, right? Yeah. Yeah, I've had enough of the soft, super rutted tracks this year.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of it this year.
It's just like the same. It's been like repetitive. It would be like us having hard pack every single week. This year, it's just been ruts and like disaster, almost every week.
Does that take a little more physicality out of you guys week after week to have to deal with that on a consistent basis then?
For me, no. I actually am less tired from those races because a lot of times you can't push quite as hard, and for me, my heart rate doesn't get as high.
Yeah.
Like if they're a slower, muddy, ruddier track.
Yeah.
So physically, it hasn't been anything out of the ordinary.
Last one I wanted to ask you is, obviously we see 9 whoops this year, and you've been great at blitzing over the years in your career. Not bad at jumping, but you've obviously had to really do a lot of jump whoops this year. Has it been frustrating that you haven't had consistent blitzable whoops?
Yeah, it's really frustrating because I feel like there's a lot of different sections of the track where you could argue that we should have limitations or make changes to. Like I would argue the 90-degree first turn is way worse than 10 whoops.
Yeah.
Just for collisions and sketchy moments. Even a right-hand first turn, my opinion's bad. So, yeah, I'm not about the 9-whoop max at all.
So another podium last week, but also the start wasn't there in the main event. But I feel like heat race, you had a good practice start during the day. What's it going to take to kind of keep that consistent throughout the day?
Honestly, like the start thing, I think I can get a good start now. Like, finally found good setup and stuff. And for the main event, our tactic was to like go close to the box, have more room, even like the rut was shitty. So I went, but I got a deep hole and got a little bit of wheel spin, and then that got me. So I think this week I'm gonna trust my instincts, like just go wherever I want to. Like I'll look at the gate that's not too deep and just trust my process and go for it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, obviously I saw you this week at Fox Raceway. You guys are doing kind of like sprints, it seemed like a little bit. Is that tactical because of Triple Crown? You're trying to work on intensity, or?
For sure, like just first couple laps intensity, and nothing too crazy.
Is there anything like technique-wise you guys are still working on this late into the season, or just kind of running it now?
I wouldn't say do much technique. Just laps, keep it like, just I feel like no need to be like crazy.
Yeah.
Do like just large amount of motos or sprints. Just like stick to the program. I feel like once you're in like the season, you can't make gains, so just maintain.
Yeah. Everybody that talked to you after the race last week, and you said that was your best 5th place finish you've ever had with everything considered. So just roll it into this week and feel a little bit better, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Last weekend was just, I rode terrible, crashed, LCQ, terrible in qualifying. My goggle strap broke with like 15 seconds to go on the board before the main. So it just was, wide open, it poured last weekend. So, but again, I salvaged what I could and actually, did pretty good in the main.
Yeah.
And just roll over into this weekend, indoor stadium. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more consistent. And it looks tacky right now, but all's good.
I think that was your first LCQ since Salt Lake 13, I believe, or so. So how was the nerves for that one?
There was honestly, I was pretty relaxed. Not the spot you want to be in.
Yeah.
But there was some crazy stat that, I don't think I've ever been in LCQ being in the 450. So, but I guess there's a first for everything at some point. Yeah.
The Triple Crown at Indy 2 weeks ago went really well for you. Just didn't get jet those 3 main events. But do you feel confident based on what you learned at Indy that this one's going to be a little bit better?
Absolutely. Luckily, my starts have been really good. So hopefully we stick with that because that's really important in those races, obviously. And so far, I'm just trying to roll the good vibes over into every single weekend. And I'm excited to race. It's another weekend. A lot of racing been going on lately and going into an off weekend too. So I think it's important to finish on a good note.
Compared to last year, you were obviously learning this team and this bike, and this year you were able to come in a little bit more like on it, I think. Do you rate this season as feeling a lot better overall, consistently wise with your results and everything then?
Yeah, absolutely. Bike wise, I was pretty set in the beginning of the year. There's always be something that can be better, you know what I mean? But overall, and again, my position sometimes didn't really reflect with how well I was riding. So, but the results are only one part, you know what I mean? I want to be happy with whatever was dealt to me and how I execute it. So overall, though, I feel like I've been having a pretty solid season so far.
Back to what last week real quick. Reflecting on how that went last week for you, did you take anything away from how that race went and how things were kind of easier for you that you can kind of build into this week with?
Yeah, sorta. I mean, I think last week, just all in all, the track was really broken down, and I had hoped for something like that because I like those kind of conditions. So every weekend's different, though. This track's obviously not going to be anything like that. Hopefully we get some ruts, but I think just a confidence standpoint, I feel like I'm in a good spot no matter what kind of track we ride right now. I'd say like Glendale was probably my Achilles, I would say, for a track just that hard pack, really fast stuff. I could definitely be a little bit better on that stuff, but I think the ruddy kind of technical stuff, I feel like I do better on. So, yeah, looking forward to this race and just trying to keep that momentum from last weekend, really.
You've obviously won a couple Triple Crowns now to this point. Do you look at these as these are my zone now because you've won so many of these, or what?
I mean, yes and no. I think the Triple Crown, the advantage is just being consistent, and you can even kind of have a not so great moto maybe and still salvage some good points. So that's really the goal this weekend, is just get 3 good starts, and winning it would obviously would be great, and that's always the goal. So but also just staying consistent and getting some points, I think, is the takeaway for this one.
On the consistency side, I feel like now being with PC, you've consistently landed on the box, whereas Star sometimes it wouldn't hit as often. What do you think is that big change for you with switching over to this bike and team?
I think that's, maybe a little bit of it is the bike. This bike's good off the line, obviously, and that helps when I get good starts. But also, I think just it being another year for me. Last year I was kind of learning a lot of stuff. So I think no matter where, what bike, whatever that, I think this is where I expected myself to be. So, I'm just trying to do my best to back up my expectations, really.
Does your mindset change at all being up 8 versus being up 1, or same thing week in and week out now?
Same thing. I just want to win. I mean, try to the points thing is always tough. There's pressure with it, but I don't know. I want to go out there and win, and I feel like that's all I can do to, I would be pleased if I can just win as many races as I can, beside whatever the championship holds or, whatever the case is. Like, I just want to go out there and win, really.
Your post-race support last week was maybe the best post-race support we've seen all year. Short and quick.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much to talk about, right, besides the start. It's funny, throughout my whole career, my starts, I think I'm known as a good starter.
Yeah.
I typically get good starts, but I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, I had to apologize to Cooper, man. I almost took him out halfway down the start straight. Like, my legs fly everywhere. It's definitely not how you would teach somebody to do it, but I was stoked on my start last weekend.
Coming off the hand injury that you had with Jorge in the beginning of the year, you were able to fight through the mud races and then obviously had to take some time off. Was that more challenging getting back to racing like a Seattle-type condition with that again, or no? You're back to normal with that?
I'm pretty much back to normal with the hand. It still bothers me a little bit, some sharp pain, just from maybe rushing it a little bit to get back because I want to race. But more so, it's just the nerve damage one that is tough on me. But the last 3 races I've done, I've come back to Daytona, Indy, and Seattle. They were really gnarly. Like, I think I'll remember those tracks the rest of my life. So if I can get through those, I'm confident I can be a little bit better here towards the end.
Yeah, so then this one, better dirt, obviously, so maybe it was going to be a little bit more fun, hopefully, right, to not have to deal with those?
Yeah, it's not super fun it's hard to find like a kind of a smooth flow, even if you're riding smart when the track is that gnarly. And we were talking about it. I've been getting lapped lately, and they throw the blue flags so dang early. So I mean, I have it's not a good race, but I'm like kind of near the top 10, right? Then I start to see the blue flags, and I'm just pulling out of the way and I'm letting half the field by. So I either got to go faster or I got to learn how to get lapped.
How's that experience then, I guess, because like you're like learning how to be lapped for the first time in your career a little bit, right?
It's such a weird deal. I mean, in my head, this obviously I think you can see it now. Like I'm pretty at peace with it. It is what it is, and it's definitely something. I'll get into it more eventually, but it's definitely been something that's tough on me, right? But there's nothing. I'm doing everything I can within my control, and I kind of have a lighthearted attitude about it now because if I'm not, like, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
If I'm all negative and all bummed. I did that for the last 3 years. It's been like this roller coaster ride. So I'm just trying to enjoy it now and do what I can. But I still see myself as like, I'll have days during the week. I've got kind of a smoother test track setting where I'm pretty damn good still, right? So it's hard to turn that off.
Right.
Like, it's hard to not expect yourself to be a part of the race. It's like I feel like I'm not even part of the race back there. But just trying to have a good attitude, man.
First week back last week, did it go better than you thought it was? Because I don't know. Like, I feel like you surprised people.
In one sense, yes. Just because I had an injury like a week prior, and it was really pushing it to race. But we had circled that date on the calendar and kind of ended up sticking to it. So that was surprising as far as to be able to perform still at a decent level. With my foot, but outside of that, I mean, I've been riding really good at the track and keeping pace with, the top star guys for a while now. So, in some ways, I was, disappointed in my performance and felt like there was certainly more to give. But for the conditions and circumstances to not come in fully 100%, give myself a little grace and continue to build throughout the year as I get more healthy and more experience.
That injury coming in, I think we heard foot or ankle or something?
Yeah, my left ankle. I had a grade 2 sprain, and years ago I tore my deltoid ligament. I re-aggravated that, and that was actually worse than the sprain, bone bruising, all the good stuff. But I cased finish line and hyperextended my ankle, so still feeling a little bit, but it's motocross. Everyone's dealing with something, and if you're good enough to go, then frick. I was, I had sat on the couch long enough and was just dying to get out there. So
yeah, well, it's been a whirlwind since the last time we saw you out there. So was it nice to just finally get back behind the gate again and just feel yourself again a little bit?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, it felt great. We had put a lot of work in to get to that point, and to be as ready as I could. One of the things I wanted to do is. I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to come back and be average and be irrelevant in no time. I wanted to be able to come and I certainly didn't come back to get 6. So still more room to build. But I wanted to be at speed. I wanted to feel comfortable. I wanted to feel like I belonged, and I feel that way now. And so just excited for the opportunity. Excited to be on the bike. Excited to be back racing in these stadiums. It's surreal again, and it's just been a really cool experience. Even seeing all the media and all the industry, and it's really a family, and it's cool to see how I've been missed. So.
Aside from dealing with the injury, what's the one thing from last week that you want to work on the most going into this week?
Last week, I want to work on my racecraft, and I think it's really perfect timing for the Triple Crown because I think that I got a good start in the main, and then I was kind of like, oh, well, let's see how this goes, like see where I'm at. And rather than like, oh, okay, I can go forward. And I think I took too long to get around some guys, and had I been able to done that, I think I would have been able to match the pace of the guy in front of me if I would have just been able to see that and be there and hang on. And so I think that's definitely something to improve on, and I was very happy with my starts, and they've been good in practice, and my speed's been decent, so it's just a matter of getting back to it, and these guys work super hard to get the bike right, and we've made we're working on a couple adjustments there as well, so always little tweaks here and there to get things better, but excited nonetheless.
I feel like we talked a lot about your starts, but Triple Crown wise, you're going to need to get 3 good ones. So are you feeling better about it this week then?
Yeah, we definitely, Tuesday we only were able to get in one day this week due to the rain, but Tuesday we definitely rode quite a bit. We did some Triple Crown practice stuff. And afterwards, yeah, we definitely did around 15, 20 starts. We really focused in, tried some new levers, plates, a bunch of different things. So I think I found something this week that hopefully works a little better. And yeah, I'm hoping we'll see by the Triple Crown if it's good or not.
What constitutes Triple Crown practice? Like what kind of sessions are you guys doing?
We mainly this week we just did 2 quick little qualifying sessions and then 3 main events. Me, Jason, and some of the club guys, we all did some sprints together with it. We got right on to each other, so we could try to simulate as much as we could to the race day. Felt super good this week. I feel like the speed's slowly getting better and better every week I'm riding. But yeah, no, I'm excited and see what we can do.
Asked Joe about this as well, but you guys have had so many different types of dirt that you raced on this year. Is it nice to just have good dirt to race on this weekend?
Yeah, it seems good. I mean, just from the little bit of track walk I've done, it seems like it's going to hold up a little more. Still seems a little soft, but it's cool to definitely have some good traction finally for once. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
I feel like you kind of snuck into 5th. Like you were just flying under the radar, had a really good main event. Did you surprise yourself at all?
Maybe a little bit. I got off to a really bad start, so I knew I was going to have to ride good. And I just started clicking off guys, and then I passed quite a few good guys, and then I looked at my pit board and said P9, so I was like, dang, I don't know how much further I'm going to get, but I've been working my butt off lately and doing a lot of moto, so it definitely came into play, and next thing you know, I had 4 factory riders in front of me, and I just kind of took advantage of that and picked them off one by one, and then next thing you know, I was in 5th.
Coming off the break then, did you feel like you had made some changes or some adjustments that you felt like was going to work in Seattle regardless?
Yeah, and I did get to ride 1 450 round, so it seemed like I'd just been doing a lot of 20-minute motos lately instead of 15, and it seemed to maybe help my last few laps in the 250 class.
Now that you've had some time on this chassis as well to develop and get used to it, what do you like about this bike so far?
This bike fits me really well. I just feel like I can turn it, put it anywhere I want. I mean, you can kind of see that when Jet or Hunter ride. It seems like they can do anything they want on the bike. And
yeah.
It seems like coming from the last manufacturer I rode for to this one, I can really just turn it anytime I want, put it where I want. So I think that really fits me well.
Seeing how things went last week and you come into a Triple Crown this week, do you look at this as like, okay, I want another consistent ride and maybe be top 5 overall, or would it be better to win one of these Triple Crown races?
Yeah, winning would be amazing for sure. We definitely have high hopes coming into this weekend. I just need to nail my start because last weekend was really bad. But other than that, my riding's been really good. I qualify pretty good each weekend, so I'm really right on par with everyone else. Obviously, there's I think 3 guys in our class that are kind of breaking away, but yeah. Other than that, I'm right on par with everyone. So if I can be around 5th or so in each round and maybe try and sneak in a good result, that'd be awesome.